This episode of the Player Spotlight Series is brought to you by SKN Biopharma. SKN Biopharma is a local business located in Avon, Ohio. They're now marketing and selling a revolutionary new hand sanitizer and surface protectant that is part of the solution to help fight this global epidemic. SKN Biopharma's hand sanitizer, which protects hands for up to 8 hours, and their surface protectant, which protects surfaces up to 90 days, are non-toxic and utilize revolutionary technology to kill pathogens of all types longer than anyone previously thought possible. Their business has absolutely exploded, and their products are available right now at www.sknmicrosure.com. Protect yourself, protect your family, and protect your business with the best solution available on the planet. Up next from the Los Angeles Chargers, Jason Moore. Welcome into the Player Spotlight Series. Tonight, a very special guest. It is Jason Moore of the Los Angeles Chargers. As you may recall, he was a standout at Oberlin High School in football and basketball, followed his passion to Findlay, and then went ahead and took it to the next level last year with the Los Angeles Chargers. Up next, Jason Moore. As the San Diego Superchargers song plays us in, obviously we know they're no longer in San Diego, but clearly a ton of people would still tell you that they are at first glance looking at it. Obviously they moved to Los Angeles, but the joke being, obviously it's so fresh, a lot of people still feel like it's the San Diego Chargers. That being said, we are so excited to have Jason to the show tonight. This young standout from Oberlin High School moved on to Findlay, and then really, last year with the Chargers, a growing season for him. I'm sure a lot of learning lessons first year in the league, but the Chargers do expect big things out of him coming into what will be his second season in the league. We are very excited to have him on. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get him to the hotline now. On the hotline now, Los Angeles Charger, Jason Moore. Jason, welcome to the program.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing well.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm excited to hear about what's been going on with you and the Chargers and everything new, and we're going to get to all that in a bit, but, I would be remiss not to talk about your days growing up in Oberlin. I mean, such a big deal there, a smaller community, but really, Northeast Ohio is such a hotbed for, high school football. No matter where you go, you could really make a name for yourself, and I feel you did so there. Congratulations on that. And I wanted to ask you, too, growing up in Oberlin, Ohio, what age did you start playing sports, and who helped you out in your young life develop the skills for the games of football and basketball?
I started playing football when I was 7 years old. That was my first time really getting on the field. I remember my mom taking me to practice. A couple of my coaches back then, but my mom's brother, my uncle, Greg Thomas, he was a big influence in me and my football days in my career, and also my father on the basketball side. My uncle Big Eye played at Oberlin High School. He was 6'6", and played receiver, and broke a couple records there. So I just remember being a kid wanting to be like my uncle and go to high school one day, break his records, and go to college. So, I remember, through my youth days, my uncle would take me to practice a lot, 5th grade when I started playing again. So, yeah, he had a big influence on my career.
What does it mean to you to be from Oberlin and make it to the NFL? Because that's quite the inspiration for a lot of young men and women out there.
It means everything to me because coming from my city, not a lot of people get the opportunity to do the things that I'm doing right now. But before I even got these opportunities, it was the journey of how I created them for myself, the resiliency in my path. It means everything to come from Oberlin because I went to a small high school, D5 high school, had about 40 guys on our team, didn't have many scholarships coming out, no D1s. I had like 3 D2 offers. And then to take the route I took to go to Findlay, play 5.5, 6 years, redshirt my first year, then break my leg my second year, then have to grind 4 years and put good stuff on film, it means everything because the journey of how I got here is, what shaped my character into who I am. And, the journey is what made me who I am. So.
Yeah, Jason, I'm glad you said, about the smaller rosters, 40 players on a roster at Oberlin. Some of these schools like an Ignatius and an Eds, they got 100 kids suiting up every Friday night. It's just insane. So for you to do what you did, you had to be good on both sides of the ball. If I have my information correct here, and I believe that I do, you were named, the PAC Defensive Back of the Year as a senior. How important was that, and, what did that mean to your success overall? How'd you get that?
It shows my versatility, to be honest. It shows how much of a team player I am for my team. I think my big emphasis, my years at Oberlin actually, was any way I could help my team win. And, I sacrificed scholarships really moving to quarterback my junior year because teams really couldn't get a feel for what I was going to play in college. But, coach made a decision and I went along with it. And we felt like it was the best move for our team and for my success. And, I was thinking about it last night. Me moving to quarterback wasn't a bad idea. It allowed me to be versatile and also, playing both ways. I played quarterback and I played corner throughout my high school career. I had, I think, 8 or 9 picks my junior year. Played corner again. They stopped throwing my way my senior year, but, I had the island down, just using my frame. But, yeah, man, I was just all over the place, and it just shows how much of a value I was to my team, and it just shows guys, don't limit yourself when you're, trying to make a name for yourself. Just be versatile, add more value to yourself by being able to play multiple positions.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually covered, because I announced high school football here in Ohio, I actually announced the game this year between Oberlin and Columbia, and it was just great to be out there. To me, there's nothing like those Friday night lights. Absolutely. Would you agree with that? Do you ever kind of miss it? I know it's hard now because you're in the NFL, and I don't know how much you get a chance to reflect on that, but do you ever miss those Friday night lights?
Every day, man. Every day. I remember when I was coming out of high school and I left. Man, I remember me and my little brother just driving off after my last high school game because, once those Friday night lights are over, it's really nothing like it. And just being able to play in front of your home fans and whatnot and be able to play in front of, your parents, people who are close. Man, just watching, Friday night lights when I was growing up, it was a cool feeling to be able to play into those. But, yeah, man, I definitely miss them all the time.
Absolutely. Well, if you ever get a bye week and it's going on, come on in, and I'll have you call a game with me. How does that sound?
That sounds great to me.
Oh. Awesome. We would love to have you. Before we get to your college days, I want to touch on one last high school thing for you, if that's okay. You had a lot of success, not only on the football field, but on the basketball court. You were an all-PAC selection in basketball, played in the Ohio North-South All-Star game during your senior year. What did you like about basketball, and why do you feel that you were successful at that as well?
Basketball was my first love, to be honest. Just coming up, my dad played basketball. My dad's 6'8", and I always thought I was going to end up being at least 6'5", 6'6", kind of have like the Anthony Davis throughout the journey, where I was like kind of like 5'10", 5'11" my freshman year, and I was feeling like I was going to sprout up. But my junior and senior, but obviously I kind of ended up being like 6'3", which is cool. God had a different journey for me, and I was just skilled in both really, and I had to make a business decision in high school about which route I really wanted to take. But like I said, basketball was initially my first love. Traveling to AAU games, just playing in the backyard with my boys, man. Just growing up. I'm an athlete, man, and my biggest thing was just any way I can help make my mom's life easier and help my brother and my sister get through school. So basketball always had a special place in my heart. Even when I got to college, just seeing the college team play my first couple years, I really missed it. But, yeah, man, I did play in that all-star game. I went out with a bang for my last game, dropped like 37 points, hit like 7 3-pointers. It was a great game. Way for me to close out my career. So
that's incredible. So, one last question, and I'll move on to Finley, and thank you for taking this time tonight. It means a lot. My question is this, and this is more so opinion than fact in any way, shape, or form. I feel, as I call multiple sports, and I played multiple sports in school, I feel it's always good if an athlete in high school plays multiple sports like you did. Nowadays, it's getting more and more, it's a rare thing. It's not like it used to be. How do you feel on that subject? Do you feel, an athlete should play multiple sports, or when they get to high school, should they just stick to the one?
Yeah, that's a good question. good topic. Personally, for me, I played multiple sports because I knew I was talented in multiple things. And it comes down to you and your parents and how you guys feel, what you talk about. But me personally, I knew I was skilled in three ways. I knew I was skilled in basketball, baseball, and football. You know, a lot of my family friends coming up know that I could have played baseball in college as well. I was a lefty. I played center, almost the same as football, tracking the balls. I love to do it. I also played pitcher, and I can hit and I can steal bases. So I was fairly good at baseball, but I kind of cut down baseball to really focus on AAU and football. But, man, from my opinion, don't limit yourself into what it is because there's a scout out there in either sport that might see something in you if you feel like you have skills as well. So, I mean, personally, to me, don't limit yourself. I know parents have this thing right now where they want kids to focus on one thing, but you just never know what the opportunities are. Had I just tried to focus on basketball and didn't really take football serious, I wouldn't be here today where I'm at. Because I didn't play football my freshman year in high school. Just wanted to focus on basketball. But the story behind that is one of my mom's friends really got me to come out my sophomore year. We had a new coach coming in, and he just, I was in the backyard throwing with him. He just said, "Come out for football this year, man. Come on. Come on." I had played in 7th grade. I didn't play football 8th of my freshman year. So he said, "Come out this year. Come on." I came out, talked to the coach and everything, and got my pads, got suited up for that season, and my career just took off since then. And it's been 10 years in the game, just working now, and look where it's got me, man. So I just tell people, if you can, don't limit yourself. Focus on what your first love is, but don't limit yourself.
That's incredible. I couldn't agree with you more. 100% agree with you. Moving on to Finley. Why did you choose Finley?
I chose Finley because it was one of the 3 offers that I had. It was my coach's alma mater, and so basically it was far enough from home where I didn't have to, be too close, where I could grow on my own and feel like I was becoming a man and whatnot. My other offers was Notre Dame College and then Mercyhurst in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was cool, but it was a little cold out there. I'm like, I'm not going out there. And Notre Dame was just too close, and Finley just felt right. I liked the program that they had. I like the mindset that they had to work hard. They basically said, if you're not willing to work hard, don't come here. And one of my best friends, who I fell in love with him, when I stepped on campus, was Coach Wags, the strength coach, man. I just knew that, the mindset he had, and then just the type of person he was somebody I wanted to be around and somebody I wanted to help me grow. And, just going to Finley was a great decision for me because our relationship, as well as my other coaches, just grew over the years. And, I left a great reputation there, a great legacy. And, I couldn't be more proud of how things turned out for me.
Yeah, and speaking of that, this is a question I've been waiting to ask you for the last couple of days here. Something that I think is very important for people to listen to because I think it's going to inspire and motivate them. After redshirting your freshman year at Finley, you met with injury. Nobody wants that. Nobody chooses to get hurt. You broke your leg only weeks before the start of what would have been your first season, but your second year on campus. Couple questions here, and you can take as long as you want to answer them. Number one, how hard was that to have to even go through that process? And then on top of that, how did rehab make you a stronger person, not only physically, but mentally?
Okay. How tough was that, and how did it make me stronger? More so, the toughest thing for me at that moment was my body was in shock. So, yes, I felt the pain, but the mental struggle of laying on the field with my leg cracked in half, just knowing that this is not something that's going to recover in 2 weeks. This is not something that I'm going to be able to come back this season from. It's probably going to take some time, at least 5 to 6 months, to get myself back to where I was 3 hours ago. And, and then to have to go through another summer, another, winter workout, another training session, all these training sessions, just things that I have been preparing myself to do. It's just like, man, just the mental struggle was tough. But, I just took it day by day, man. I couldn't really overstress myself with too many different things. So, once I got to the hospital, I had my surgery and whatnot. It was just a day by day process after that. The recovery process was tough. I remember times talking to my mom, and, I was just like, I don't really know if this is for me anymore because, I've been waiting so long to get this opportunity. Here it is. It was taken from me. And to keep in mind that just a month prior, my grandfather had passed away from pancreatic cancer, and I had sacrificed my summer to really be around him, in his final days, to be in Finley working to play that season, and then that season was taken from me. So I was at a low point in my life, to be honest with you. But, like I said, it made me a stronger person because I learned to find beauty in the struggle. It was my first trial that I had to face on my own. Like God was testing me in ways that I didn't really understand. But, looking later down the road in my life, how it all makes sense now, I couldn't understand it. I remember sitting in the lobby of my campus dorm one time talking to my mom, and my boy Johnny had walked by, and I had dropped a tear, and he kind of had seen me, and I had dropped a tear because, I was talking to her about Grandpa passing away and me being out for a whole nother year, all this stuff I had to go through just to get back to where I was at. And that's when I was like, man, Mom, I don't know. But at that moment, she just told me, baby, you got to trust God and the plan that he has for you. And, from that moment, I just made the decision that, however it's supposed to go, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But, yeah, it was tough, but definitely it just shaped my character. It gave me so much more confidence in who I am as a person and as a player because, once again, it was a setback, but it was something that I was able to get over and to keep pushing on in life. And I think there's value in that lesson because life's never going to go how you want it to go, but if you keep working hard and stay true to your passion and stay true to God, he's going to create opportunities for you to be able to tell your story one day and give that thanks to him. So I took a lot of pride in my journey of being injured and coming back from that because it gave me something to talk about.
And obviously it motivated you, which is something I could see in your numbers coming up. Your first full season in which you had got regular playing time after the injury, you came out, set a school record with 1,115 receiving yards on 71 receptions with 15 touchdowns. You were named to the first team All-Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference in the GLIAC. That's incredible. How good did it feel, and was that kind of a vindication for how hard you worked to get back on the field?
Yeah, it felt great. It was me displaying the talent that I always had. It was just me just enjoying the game, me being in my zone. We're a run-heavy team, really. So if to be in that locker room, to understand the numbers, and that I was able to put up those numbers with the offense that we was in, it speaks volumes because that wasn't even my ceiling. I could have put up so many more numbers, but I'm a team player, so I'm just thankful that I was able to put up those numbers. My first game after the injury, my first game of my career, I had 7 catches for 100 yards. So I kind of set the bar for myself my first game, and I told myself as a player that 100 yards is always going to be the minimum that I'm trying to hit because that's what I had my first game. I'm only supposed to get better in my career, so there's no way that I shouldn't hit it. So that was just the mindset I had from there on out.
From Finley, perseverance, for you continued to be a big part of your life. After not getting drafted, you walked on to the Los Angeles Chargers, and nearly made the team out of camp. For people who don't know, you were one of the last possible people that they could have cut on the final cutdown day. However, as you said, the Lord works in mysterious ways because the very next day you signed on their practice squad. That ended up being a great move. First of all, how much did not getting drafted motivate you to make a statement and make a team like it did?
It motivated me a lot in a way. I've always been the underdog in my head. I've always had a chip on my shoulder. And I remember, I want to say June, I had just got back from, mini camp, OTAs and whatnot. And I was just peeking at a few articles and the blogs and whatnot that, sports analysts write. And I had seen something about me, Jason Moore, had 2.5 out of 10 chance of making the roster come season time, practice squad at best. So not getting drafted, I kind of set myself up for that with the career I had, a few things that had went down. But it wasn't the end of the world for me. I wasn't upset about it. I was more so grateful to have the opportunity to go out there and showcase my skills with some of the best guys in the world. So I was very grateful for that. To be able to get out there, like I said, I didn't lose hope. I didn't lose faith. I talked to GM Tom, and he explained the move and everything about me being cut and put on practice squad, and I understood it. I'm a coachable person. If somebody sees something in me, I'm going to listen and I'm going to work and I'm going to do what I got to do to be that player. And so, I put trust in what was happening, and, I went in and did my thing like I was supposed to. And, as God works, he created opportunities for me, and I took off and just didn't look back.
Your first pro game came against Pittsburgh last year, and you looked impressive, pulling down 2 catches for 43 total yards in that game. What did it feel like? Because obviously I know you played in preseason, and there's the practice squad. I understand all of that, but what did it feel like in a real live Sunday game? I mean, take me through the entire process from the time you went to bed the night before all the way through the game time. What was going through your mind, and how were you able to settle those nerves? Because I have to believe that was probably one of the biggest days of your life.
Oh yeah, man! Like, it was crazy because I found out that Saturday that I was playing the next day, so I only had so much time to process before I got to go out there and do my job. But man, it's the life we live. You just got to be ready, stay ready, so you don't got to get ready. And I had told myself that I could feel this moment coming, building up over the weeks. I'm making plays on practice squad. I'm starting to get more reps in practice with the ones and the field. I'm catching all the balls that field throws my way, which was pretty dope. But I felt the moment coming, and so man, all the emotions. I think that day it was walkthrough, and I'm walking through, and I just kind of get this feeling that coach is about to call me in, call me up. And so my dude Dre came over and tell me, because Dre was hurt for a little bit, so Dre was going to be down. And so with Dre being down, it was going to call me to be up. And then, Dre came over and told me, like, yeah, Brody, you're going to be up this week. And I'm like, wow, like, okay. So after that walkthrough, coach called me in, called me over, and he said, we're going to bring you up this week and see what you can do. And so, I went up, signed my game day contract, my contract for the season to be on active roster. And, man, that was a great feeling. I called my agent. My agent was already notified what was going down, and I talked to him after that, and he just had some words for me and just, said he was proud of me and that, you worked hard for it. You deserve to be here, and it's your time. So, go do your thing. And so, I just remember coming home, just talking to my mom. I called my mom about 15, 20 minutes after that. I think she had already found out because the Chargers kind of had posted something like a Chargers update that Jason Moore was moved to the active roster. And so I called my mom. He's like, yeah, like, you just, what's going on? Like, you just got activated or whatnot? And, like, I just kind of explained it to her, and she dropped a tear. She started crying, and I'm like, nah, like, 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 why are you crying? You worked so hard to be here, everything that you've been through. I wouldn't change any of the hard times that you went through because everything shaped you for everything you're about to do and endure this moment of your life. And I'm just so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And you just motivate me every day to become a better person, to keep fighting for what I believe in, fighting for my dreams. So that was a big moment in my life. And I just enjoyed the rest of the day. We had meetings that night, checked into the hotel for the first time for like the season, and went to the meetings, just embraced it all, man. Just thinking like my first game in the NFL is about to be on Sunday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. My family rival, really, because growing up in Ohio, you got the Browns and the Steelers, and I remember my aunt's husband always been a Steelers fan since we were kids, and so to Browns Steelers, to have him talking all his mess and me finally go to the NFL and my against the Steelers on a Sunday night, you can't really ask for a better story or, like a better moment. That was my real life. Like, I couldn't make none of this up, and it's just crazy how God works. But just to come this far, to come from what I came from, to be in that moment, game day was cool. I woke up, went home, got some breakfast. It was a later game, so I was able to enjoy the day, embrace it. I went in the pool before and just visualized myself on kick return, because either or, that was going to be my first play. I was going to be out there on one of the first plays of the game. And, I had to get that in my head, wrap that around my head. I was the lead blocker on kick return. So really, I was visualizing everything I was going to do. And so sure enough, it got to the game day emotions, just going through the locker room. You see the guys, everybody getting in their zone. It wasn't my first rodeo because preseason gets you ready for it. So I just acted like I've been here before, man. I acted like a professional as I do. And I just embraced it all. Sure enough, kick return was the first play, and I'm going out there, my first game in the NFL, home game against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. Here comes the kick. I'm lead blocking, and I just, boom, go, and my career takes off from there. I make a block and end up on the ground, man. And, it was a good play. Coach, he had said something the next day. He was proud of me for look at Jay Moore, his first play in the NFL. Look at him making a block. He's on the ground. And that was a big moment for me. I was proud to hear that. And just, wow, like God is good. God is great, actually, to come from everything I came from to be in that moment, man, is just something I'm very grateful for, something I'm proud of, something I can talk about for a long time.
You touched on a couple of things there. One, and we got 2 questions left, so I really appreciate you taking this time tonight after a long day. Honestly, thank you so much. 2 questions left, but before I get to those 2, I have to throw this in here. When I was doing my research, and I remember watching that game. I watch every Sunday Night Football game. I love Sunday Night Football, and it's funny to me. A Cleveland kid lines up at receiver, and who's on the other side of the field, but Joe Hayden. A guy you probably rooted for at times. How surreal was that feeling?
It was dope. I remember watching Joe in his days out here. Just like the other stars that I've been around, I don't get starstruck, but I always show my respect. But like I said, it was just one of those moments that I've seen this moment 1,000 times in my head. To be here and just kind of see it in person is just so surreal, man. It just confirms to me that there's a God out there, there's a higher power, somebody that's watching over us, somebody that's guiding us, and just to know that, like I said, God is great for putting me in this position because I've seen it in my head, and to be seeing it in real life was just so crazy.
So thank you again. 2 more questions here. My second last question I have to ask you, what was it like, and you touched on it a little bit here, what was it like catching passes from Phillip Rivers, a guy who I feel personally should be in the Hall of Fame one day? I think he's probably the most underrated quarterback of our time. I think he's incredible. It's going to be interesting to see, what he does with the Colts coming up and how you guys adjust. And I think you guys will be totally fine with who you have in place. But what was it like with Phillip Rivers?
Man, to speak on Phil, he's a great leader. He's a great quarterback. He has a lot of skills that most fans, if you don't really understand the game or don't really break things down, wouldn't really understand. Just his communication, just his way he's able to call out protections. As my receiver coach said, he truly is one of the best quarterbacks in the game to ever, call out protections and make those adjustments. It's surreal because for as long as I've basically been alive, basically 17 years. I was 5 years old when Phil really got in the league or whatnot. So to kind of grow up playing Madden, seeing this dude on here, seeing this legendary quarterback, and to be able to out there with him, just catching passes from him, my days in OTAs, my first time meeting him to our last conversation after our last game is just, it's surreal. It's dope because I had a relationship with this person who, I never knew that I would have a relationship with, but to be able to, come in and make a name for myself and earn his respect, to hear the words that he had to share with me after my last game and after my first game, my first catch from him, it was dope. I'm a person who really believes in the value of relationships and the memories that you make with people. And, man, just to have that time with him is something that I'll always be grateful for and embrace because I got to, he's going to be a Hall of Famer in my eyes. So to be able to, just learn from him and, just grow with him was pretty dope. And to be able to watch his career kind of close out with the Chargers, even though it didn't go the way that, that most people will want to see a walk-off, but it's life, it's the business it is. But to be able to have the time we had, I'm forever grateful.
Yeah, and again, I couldn't agree with you more. I think he, like I said, I feel like he's the most underrated quarterback of all time. Now, last question for you here tonight, and kind of touching on that, it's going to be a brand new quarterback room this year. A great kid coming from college. You got Tyrod Taylor coming from, the Bills, the Browns, and now Chargers. So, the quarterback situation should be okay. I'd be shocked if it isn't. But overall, though, what are your expectations for this season? How comfortable do you feel that there's going to be a season? Like you said, we had to put it in God's hands, and I know that we do. But also, what do you think it's going to be like? Have you given it any thought of what it would be like playing without any fans?
Yeah, I was just at the field throwing with some guys in the league playing for different teams, and they just was talking about how they kind of feel like the combine, in Indianapolis, where you're just out there running, not too many people out there watching, but kind of that feeling. But to me, coming from where I come from, playing college football, that don't make a difference to me. I probably had 1,000 people watching me play on Saturdays. So, I'm out here trying to do my job, and however it goes down, I'm going to go out there and do what I got to do. But for sure, it's going to be weird, not having the fans out there and whatnot. But I think, if things calm down a little bit, there should be a chance of hope to have fans there because, for me personally, that would be dope to be able to play a game with fans in the stadium because the first game is in Ohio against Cincinnati. So that's like a homecoming for me, to be honest. And, that'll be dope to be able to have my family there, people that I love and care about, be able to watch me play in Ohio. That'll be pretty dope. So I'm rooting for a season with fans, as we all are, but we just have to play it by ear and see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again for coming on the show tonight. I appreciate it. I'm probably going to send this over to our guy there, Lloyd Henry. Maybe that will inspire him to go try out for the Browns this season. You never know. But all joking aside, it's been great speaking with you. And is there any last things you want to say to all the fans out there and everybody listening?
Man, shout out to everybody out there with a dream. Believe in yourself, whatever it is that you're doing. Just keep working hard. Adversity is going to happen, but just trust in the character that it's building. And, just don't let the hard times slow you down or discourage you because, I'm somebody who was just like you and been through a lot. But to be where I'm at today allowed me to be grateful for everything that I have and everything that I've been through. And I just feel like I'm living a second life now, a new opportunity to just become a greater person and a greater player. And I'm just taking advantage of it. So just shout out to everybody out there grinding, man. Just keep working hard. Believe in yourself.
Well, absolutely. Thank you again. And you have a fan in Keon Sports, and I'm going to hold you to that. When you come home on a bye week, if there's a Friday night football game, you're going to be in our press box with us. Sound good?
Oh, yeah, that sounds great to me.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Have a great summer.
Yeah, take care.
Okay, now. Bye now. Thank you. So that was Jason Moore of the Los Angeles Chargers. Don't dare call them the San Diego Chargers. Like, I almost slipped up twice and did so. That is going to be one tough habit to break, let me tell you. Awesome stuff. Really, really enjoyed that. And if you're not motivated or inspired after that, then I don't know what's going to do it for you because that is one hell of an inspiration. Everything that young man went through to pick a smaller school like Findlay, like he did, like he said, maybe 1,000 people in the crowd for some of those games, breaks his leg right before he's going to play. He comes back from it all. Amazing. Walks on to the Chargers. And, we say undrafted free agent, but come on, think about it for a second. It really is like a walk-on at that point. He walks onto the Chargers. Unbelievable success now coming in to his second season. Should be one of the regular starters, I would believe. Going to be some new quarterbacks there. Well, we could get to that on a future show. But tonight, all about Jason Moore, Findlay, Oberlin. He's done it all now with the Chargers. We wish him nothing but the best of luck. To all of you as well. Everybody have a safe night. Keep hanging in there. We're almost out of this cloud that's been hanging over us for a little while. But you know what? Sunshine and brighter days are ahead. I just know it. Everybody have a great night. I want to thank our guest one more time, Jason Moore of the Los Angeles Chargers. Have a good night.